morning and welcome to the Art of Fire live streaming. If you were here with us last week, welcome back again. And we promise you it's not going to be like a mini series again in 4 parts. We've overcome our little technical difficulties and glad to see you. So why don't you all start commenting, let us know who's here. Oh, we're already up to 2 viewers. Hot dog, here we go. Well, the idea today is that we're going to have pumpkins and ghosts and all kinds of stuff for the fall season. So I'm Bruce, I'll be narrating. Hello, Marion Hanson, nice to have you here with us. All right, so on today's agenda for our live stream, we're going to have a white pumpkin of what we call medium size. We'll show you a few in a minute. Pamela Ritter, we can't wait either. Thanks for being with us. We'll have a ghost, and then we're going to have something special here. We're going to have a teal with green pumpkin, a medium-sized one, because one of our viewers not only ordered the pumpkin, but asked if she could have it made while on the live stream. So we'll have that for you. We'll make a picture out of pumpkin colors, and we'll have a ghost mug, a small pumpkin, and then to finish off, a pumpkin goblet. So I'll give you a little preview over here of what you'll be seeing today. So the white pumpkin, here is a medium-sized one right here with a beautiful gold stem on it. And we also have a small white pumpkin next to it and even a large one back behind. And we also do the pumpkins in other colors. And one of the more popular ones is this orange, which is kind of typical for a pumpkin. We've got the mango pumpkin back there, which is a lot of work to put a big boy like that together. And we'll have a pitcher today. There's our pumpkin pitcher. And of course, the ever popular ghosts. So here you see our little ghost with a bedsheet look in the face. And we actually have ghost mugs. Now what I'd like is comments from anybody that agrees with me in my argument with Josh that this ghost mug really kind of looks like a polar bear. So let's hear it if anybody out there agrees that that's kind of got a polar bear look. All right, and over here we have the mugs, pumpkin mug, pumpkin colored mug, and then the white mug with the gold handle. Here's the prices on what we have today. So the mango, large, medium, and small pumpkins. I'm sure somebody out there will want some ghosts. And we've got the pumpkin pitcher. Goblets are sold in pairs. And the ghost mugs and the pumpkin mugs are listed there also. So let's get started here. Morning, Foster.
Hey, good morning, Bruce, and welcome. Thanks for being with us for the pumpkin edition at the live streaming at Art of Fire.
Great. All right, so let's wander on back here. Morning, Todd. Todd's working on cats, and you can see he's got his cat ears on. Yeah, All righty, so let's go back. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning.
Josh is on the spot this morning. Joyce Ferguson agrees with me that the mug definitely has a polar bear look.
Well, I think she's a little biased.
There's no bias at all there. Thank you, dear.
Well, good morning to all.
Dale Kohler says kind of like a polar bear. Okay, so kind of. No, I got 2 votes on polar bear. That's more than I ever got last year. Okay, so what we got here first, Josh, is.
So we're going to be making a white pumpkin. So we start out by picking up a chunk of white from the oven. So I have a preheated pipe, and we'll grab some white.
Okay, so Josh is going to go back over there to the annealer. He's pre-warmed the white chunk of glass to 900 degrees. And as he comes by, you'll get a look at how it really is kind of sharp edged where it was cut and everything. Now he melts it down. So let's see. Chantel Chenoweth says it's a ghost polar bear. I like that. Yes, I really like that, Chantel. But when we make the miniature Coca-Cola can and put it in his hand, it becomes a polar bear for sure. Okay. So anyway, Josh is preheating the white and he'll shake that up and introduce a little bit of air into it. So he and Foster are going to be back here making all your stuff today. Last week we had a couple of little interruptions. We've got technical support working on all of that, which means the four of us, Theta primarily. And so we've shut off the Wi-Fi. We're going with data. Should be no service interruption. And we even got a little gel cooling pack on the back of the phone. So in case the clown behind the camera gets too close to the hot glass again, it'll work.
And
And David's
show you how hot it actually is in here when we're working. If a phone that's 2 or 3 feet away is getting hot, it tells you how hot the glass is.
exactly. We were kind of surprised last week when the phone cut out because I sure didn't feel the heat, but I'm not electronics. So like us, share with us, comment, ask us questions, or tell us what your connection may be to the Art of Fire. We just got a message from David Hogan that he's got our pumpkins. He's from Forestville, Maryland. So yeah, we really appreciate that. Any pieces that you'd like to order, you can order them while we're doing the live stream with a direct message to Theta. So here Josh is with the gather of glass. You can kind of see the white core in the middle. It's a smaller portion that he had. And by rolling it on the metal table, which we call a marver, he'll shape that up a little bit. And then what he'll do is put some air into it. Now it's a little easier to see the white core of that glass because the heat of the fresh gather is dissipating. A little pressurized air in the pipe. It's got nowhere to go but out into that hot glass. And Josh is going to roll it on the table again so that he can put it in one of those two metal canisters, the optic mold. And we've explained about optic molds before. They just put a design into the glass. This is not the type of mold that gives you your finished product. So in just a moment, he'll drop the glass in there, blow real hard, and it'll have ridges in it. So there he goes, he's got it in there, and as soon as he comes out, he'll bring it over a little closer to us, and you'll see all those fine ridges in there. A little bit of blowing, and away we go. Chantel says she has one of our pumpkin mugs. She loves it and uses it almost every day. Thank you, Chantel. So, in the process of getting set up, I was a little bit remiss and didn't see them slip this week's giveaway in front of me, but it's going to be a small pumpkin. And when we walk back over to the display table, we'll get a good view of that. So Josh has got this inflated down to the size we need. You can still see the ridges in it. See all those lines? And that's what's going to give the pumpkin a lot of great texture. Liz says she has a pumpkin mug by you guys, and she also has a cat figure sitting in her kitchen. Would love to get a ghost mug this year. Well, Liz, that's really easy to arrange. You can direct message Theta right now, or you can go onto our website, artoffire.com, and you can place an order and we'll get it to you. Good morning, Bridget. You back to win another piece? All right, Bridget Blackmore's with us. Blakemore, I'm sorry. All right, Foster's shaping up the putty over there, and that's the piece that we use to transfer pipes. So you're going to see Josh take the tweezers, grab the putty iron, and place it right in the center. Then he's going to turn it a little bit. Bridget, I'm with you on that, hopefully. Maybe you'll be the lucky one this week. So Bridget won a confetti mug, didn't she? I think she won the confetti mug the first week. Anyway, any of you that comment at all, you'll be entered in a random drawing, and then we'll draw that before next week's video, and somebody will get the pumpkin. So Josh now has transferred the pumpkin over to the putty iron. He's heating the top of it. Bridget, yep, the mug. Hey, memory served me well that time. So Foster's over there at the furnace right now. Let me lean out here a little bit. And he's gathering glass for what will be the stem of the pumpkin. It's going to bring it over and dip it in the gold. You're welcome. Okay. We're a team here. We work together. So after he heats it up into he gets it rolled in, he's going to come over and heat that up a whole lot. And then he's going to dip the stem down into this really tiny mold that is between his feet right now. And that will put optic impressions into it. And he's going in a tiny mold, and he'll get ridges in that, hold it long enough to press, and then a quick reheat, and he'll bring it over here nice and level and deliver it to Josh. Josh will grab it with his shears, and then they'll place it right in. Now watch what happens. He has to flip it, cutting off a little bit, and while it's moving, he sticks it in there. Now that's something that takes a lot of practice, just to be able to take that hot moving glass and get it right in the place you want. So after this, you can see Foster's grabbed a pipe over here. He's going to provide a tool for Josh to wrap the stem around. So he'll extend the stem a little bit. Get over here where I can see, and you can see. And then Foster gives him the pipe to wrap around, and there we go, all the way around the piece. Foster pulls it out, Josh curls it into place, and there we have it.
So what's neat about this color we used is it's actually a reducing color.
Reduction is when the oxygen gets sucked out of something. So the chemistry of this is that when the flame hits the torch flame that Foster's got over here, it reduces the color. So Josh has got the final set on that. Foster will blast it with this hot flame. Oh boy. Jenna says she always wanted to watch the pumpkin get made. Well, you're here at the right day. So there they go, it's loud. And then Josh will show us this beautiful gold color. And there's the top, the stem. Beautiful work, guys. Okay, so he takes a little butter knife, chips around the putty. He's not trying to knock it off with that. He just cools it off there so it'll break free. And now he's got to glove up because this stuff is still over 1,000 degrees. And he picks it up, puts it in the annealer. We got one comment, I missed the name on it. Love the smell of napalm in the
That's
morning.
right,
there you go.
You know, glass blowers,
Yeah.
they're just little kids at heart anyway that just like to play with fire. So
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, David Hogan says Foster was having way too much fun with that flame. Yeah, so please send us the likes, show us a little love. Let's see some hearts for Josh and Foster here.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and Mary Beth, it is place of purpose in her treasures glass curio cabinet. That's wonderful. Okay, so while the guys are getting set up for the next thing, and I'm going to walk in behind Todd, we'll go back to our display table once more. All right, here we go. And let's see. Oh, so Linwood Hoffman won the cane ball from last week. Congratulations. And this week's giveaway is going to be a pumpkin, very much similar to the one you just saw, but in these colors. Okay, James Conover's with us. Good morning, James. And then just to review rather quickly, we've seen the white pumpkin mug, the medium size. Now Josh and Foster are going to be making a ghost for you. So here's our price list of the Mongo, medium, large, small pumpkins, the ghost, pumpkin pitcher, which you'll see later. You can order a pair of pumpkin goblets. They're sold in pairs, and the ghost mugs and the pumpkin mugs. Okay. So in kind of the reverse order, here's a mug in just white. There's a pumpkin colored mug. Here, I say, is a polar bear mug. I'll accept that one as a ghost, but there's definitely a ghost back there, which is what we're going to go see next. We've got a pumpkin pitcher here. This is the Mongo. This is the big boy. That's several gathers of glass, and it generates a lot of heat. Just putting on the stem to that can sometimes be a real adventure. This white one you see right here is the medium size that was just made. Here's the same medium size in a standard pumpkin color. And then we've got the, I'm sorry, those are the large. These are the mediums, and up here are the smalls. So if you'd like one of these pieces, be sure and direct message Theta. Contact us on the website. Most any form of communication except carrier pigeon will work. So right now, we're going to come on back. They're getting coordinated on what's happening right now. And we're going to go with a ghost.
Yeah, this is definitely a ghost.
Definitely a ghost. Oh, I have no problem with the ones that look like a bed sheet being called a ghost. I just think those mugs look like a polar bear. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Anyway, this is a straight up ghost. So I got another chunk of white, and again, he'll marver it after it's melted and get working on it. So check in with us. Let us know how you get connected to the Art of Fire. Why it is smoke signal, David Hogan. If we could run outside, we'd be glad to get your order by a smoke signal, but I would really suggest a direct message or perhaps an email or contact on the website.
Talking to Theta.
And if what you see is not what you want, you can order it. One thing you can do is go to our website, go through our extensive catalog, and find out exactly what there is in there you'd like. So you can place orders at any time, and we're always happy to have them. So Josh is heating that up. Rob and Hollinger, miss you guys. Well, we miss you too. And it's great to see you back again. Okay, and Ted said, let's see what the heat looks like on the arm of Josh's bench. And here's what happens to the pristine wood when it gets exposed to a lot of heat over time. And here's what happens when some of our folks put the hot end of the pipe on the wrong end of the bench. It starts to burn grooves in it. But at Josh's bench, that doesn't happen. Okay, so he's gathered a little bit of glass on the end of it. He's going to take a cherry wood block here, and he's going to shape it up. The cherry wood block stays in water all the time, and when it's made, it's cut from green wood. And this way it never really dries out, doesn't stand a chance to crack. It's got a real tight grain to it. There's a close-up shot. You can see how over time they get burned out. But all that wet wood creates a bed of steam for the glass to roll on. It's almost like a lubricant. So a little bit of air pressure into the pipe, it's got nowhere to go. It's not going to break his bony finger. It's not going to go through that steel pipe. That air goes right out into the hot glass. Why cherry wood? Good question, Mary Beth. It doesn't have to be cherry wood, but it usually is typically a fruit wood because fruit woods have tight grain. So if all you've got is a peach tree in the backyard, you could actually make a peach block. Somebody might call it a peach basket. I have never actually picked up an odor of cherries, but I'm wondering if we used apple or peach, if we might not pick up that odor when we block the pieces.
Yeah, perhaps so, yeah.
Josh has just cut off a little bit of glass off the end. Rachel Whitaker says, hi, Bruce. Well, hello, Rachel. And Josh is blocking up again. And in a moment, you can see the steam coming right now. This guy is hot stuff. See all that steam coming off the block and back into the water. You shape this up, and his object here is to get the bubble blown out evenly so that it's an even wall thickness. What is Josh making? You know, I should repeat these every once in a while. They tell me to, but I get so sidetracked and digress. Anyways, making a ghost, okay? This is a legitimate ghost. It's going to look like a face on a bed sheet. A little while later, he's going to make the polar bear mug. All right, a little more compressed air. Watch the bubble grow dramatically inside there. He leaves a little bit of clear down at the bottom, and he's rolling it on the metal arm of the bench to cool it right there. Don't want that to get too thin, or later on in the process, it'll break. A ghost. Yes, it is a ghost. The ghost of Halloween past. All right, a little more air. And then a little bit of swing. See, you don't always have to spin it around like a propeller blade. Sometimes just a little bit of discreet swinging back and forth is all you need. He's cutting a jack line or a constriction close to the pipe. I'm going to leave that one alone, Mary Beth. Anybody that's watching can read it. Okay, so Josh is getting a reheat in it, and he's probably going to bring it out and swing it some for a little elongation. But depending on the heat of the glass, he watches carefully. See his head snapping around like he's watching a tennis match? Well, he's watching the glass to see that it's A-okay. Back into that jack line to make sure it'll break. A little bit of air, and you can see this nice cylindrical shape, which will open up in a little bit to be the bed sheet for our ghost. How hot is the furnace? Well, now we're back to something I could talk about on air, Mary Beth. That furnace is running at about 2,030 degrees right now, and it's the gas hog in this place. It runs all year long, 24/7. Unless we have to take it down for maintenance. So Foster's heated the putty up a little bit. Once more, same type of process with the transfer. Because who wants a ghost with a 4.5-foot blowing iron on the end of it? It's still hot, so it's moving around a little bit. But Foster, with his deft manipulation, brings it back and keeps it centered for Josh.
What'd you say?
His deft manipulation. Yes. Okay. So in glass blowing, we typically work on the lower half of a vessel first, or the outer half. This one happens to be a little bit reversed because we have to open up the bottom of this skirt. I don't want to go there either. You all have to shut it down during COVID. Actually, we didn't have to shut the furnace down. Foster chose to shut this furnace down initially and then activate a smaller one so he didn't use as much fuel. And I'll show you that in a minute. So, here's Josh opening up the bed sheet, if you will, that becomes the ghost's body. When he gets that open to the point he wants, he'll take a reheat, and then he'll put the little ruffle around the bottom. So if I can pull this thing aside a little bit without, actually I don't even have to pull it up. Here's a spare furnace over here. And this is one we used, 2 years ago while we were doing some work on the big one, and it's been left in place. And it uses considerably less fuel than the big one. So while we had to back off a lot at the beginning of the shutdowns for COVID, Foster lit that one and it didn't use near as much gas. Here we go with the ruffle. Just like a potato chip, ruffles have ridges. Here we go. And there's a beautiful design for the bottom. So the next part of it will be for Foster to flash that. Josh is going to put on a special pair of glasses. No, they're not X-ray glasses. They're didymium is what they're called, and what they do is they reduce the sodium flare that you see when you're doing torch work. We have here a torch that uses oxygen and propane, and there's a sodium flare that occurs. I'm going to stand back a little bit but you see that bright spot there where he's heating. And he's got that metal curved piece that he's going to put up into it, and that's what's going to form the arm. Yes, Mary Beth, it's an arm. Okay, so once he gets one done, Foster will take a quick reheat and we'll put the other one in. So Josh wears the Dynamium glasses whenever he's using this hot torch, and especially when he's putting on design elements with little stringers of glass. We'll explain that in a moment. Erica said she'd love a ghost mug, please. And of course, Theta beat me to the punch. She said, you got it. Eye protection like welders use, not exactly the same as welders' shields, but the same principle. The light here is not as intense as what you would get with welding, and so we don't need to have like a number 5 welder's shield, but we need something to protect the eyes. Alrighty, so we got those in place, and Josh is going to continue to wear his special eyewear just because he thinks it looks cool. No, he's got a very thin piece of black glass. He pulled that out into a length once before. We call it a stringer. And he will heat that just on the tip and then put it in place to make the face for this ghost. Later he'll use the same stringer to make the face for the polar bear. Alright, so he heats the tip of it. Foster holds things still, and Josh comes right down onto it, makes little circles, and it winds off the first eye. Comes over from that. Notice the steady hand. How impressive. All right, and then one bigger blob for the nose. And when that's done, Foster will take a flash. I have to step out of the way. The flash is just a little bit of a reheat to keep things from cracking. We want to keep this glass up over 1,000 degrees for certain, maybe even a little hotter. How did that happen? I'm sorry, Mary Beth, I missed that part. Yes, Patrick Foley, not only do those glasses reduce sodium flare, they make Josh look cool. He's got an aviator pair too with wraparounds. Yeah, And then he gets out his motorcycle and looks for the nearest runway so he can emulate Tom Cruise. All the while, oh, floor model. Okay, so this is what happens. Glass sometimes breaks, sometimes falls off. We might be able to retrieve this one. So Foster's over here really quickly reheating the putty, and Josh is going to hold that still, and now he's going to try to attach it, and as long as we get it attached, we've got a save. I told you a couple weeks ago, it's not what you can make, it's what you can fix. And there we go. Okay, so he's really kind of none the worse for wear. He's got a little misshapen where he hit the floor, but hey, it happens. And we did save it, Mary Beth.
Yes.
Let's give Foster some hearts, okay? Yeah, there we go. So it's not unusual really for a piece to come off the putty. Sometimes if we land just a little bit hard on the bench rail, or if the glass got a little bit cold, it can break. Foster, Matthew Schrader says, my hero.
Yeah, we do that. Just a quick flash.
Foster's busy. Foster, Matthew Schrader said you're his hero. All right, so now, after a minor interruption, we're back to where we were in the process, and Josh is going to heat those eyes and nose a little bit and just flatten them out a little bit. So he'll apply a little bit of heat to each of those little nugs of black glass, and then use the side of his tweezers to flatten them some. Matthew also says that ghosts are a second life anyway. So I guess that means that Todd could have dropped his cats on the floor 8 times. I mean, it's only a logical extension. Scott Farrell says, this is what 40 years of experience teaches you. That's right. Oh, and David Hogan calls you the Ghost Rescuers. I'm guessing that's in lieu of the Ghost Busters if it had broken. Alrighty, way to go, guys. That's a premium floor model. You got that right. And actually, he straightened it all back out. The fact that it's a little crooked on the putty is irrelevant because the shape is maintained. And what I'll do is walk around on over here so we can take a closer look at this rascal while Josh gets ready to put the hook on it. So there it is. Now looking at that, you never know what happened. If we destroy the video evidence, you won't know about it. I'm kidding. So here we go, a little bit of glass on the top. He draws that up, but not too fast. He doesn't want to get thin and stringy. You know, clip it off. It's starting to fall, but he's got good control because of the heat, and he'll make the hook and then put this baby away. So let's see some hearts. Let's see some hand clapping for Foster, the Ghost Saver, and Josh, the construction superintendent. There we go. Nice job, guys. That was wonderful. Hey, use the comments. Talk to us. Interact with us. We love it. So let us know where you are. Where's everybody from today, okay? Have we got Michael Herman from the Netherlands in the audience? Let us know, Michael. Okay, so here we are back over to screen. And so we've had the ghost and the white pumpkin. Now what we're going to have is a medium-sized pumpkin in teal and green. And this was a special request by a customer who wanted to see it made on the live stream. And that's what we're doing. We're going to make a teal and green pumpkin, medium size, and then it'll be shipped out after annealing. So if you would like to see your own piece made, we have a couple of options. One option would be just contact us in advance and we'll see if we can work your piece into the demonstration. Like pumpkin worked great here. Julia's of Falls Church. Great, good to have you from Falls Church. All right, so like I was saying, you can order a piece and have it made, and we can do it right here on the live stream and you'll see it. Another option, which we're very happy with, is this is the order. Okay, so this green and teal pumpkin is being made for a Pamela Johnson Ritter. That's great. So if you want a piece ordered and you'd just like a video of it, but we can't get it in on the live stream, we can actually film your piece being made. So get in touch with us, theartoffire.com, talk to us, place your order, and if you'd like to see the piece made, we'll see if we can work it out either on a live stream or just make a video for you that we could email to you and you'd have a record of that. Port Orchard, Washington? Wow! That's probably about the furthest away. I hope you're not out there with all the smoke in that area. And so let's review what we've got here. Today our theme is pumpkins. Here's the prices across the top there for our pumpkins in the various sizes. The ghost you just saw, if you would like that special floor model ghost that you just saw, let Theta know right now. Direct message her, get in touch with her, let her know you'd like it. It can be yours. Or you can order one that hasn't been on the floor. But that guy's rather distinctive. There's pumpkin pitcher, and yes, somebody, yep, David Hogan, didn't know they played baseball. Yes, they do. So we'll have pumpkin goblets. We'll make one later on, 165 a pair, sold only in pairs. Lots of smoke for Barrett, but we're hanging out inside. Good here. My son lives in Portland, and he's reporting the same type of thing. We have ghost mugs and pumpkin mugs. So let's just do a quick review of what we got here. This is the Mongo pumpkin, and I don't know if it looks big on your video screen, but when it's on the end of a blowpipe, it's really impressive. So there's the Mongo pumpkin. These are the large right here, and then the medium, both in white and the traditional orange. Let me get it on the shot here. Well, there we go. And then the smalls. We also have the pumpkin pitcher. So there you go. So you can't put your pumpkin spice latte in it, I'm sorry. But cold liquids would be fine. And then we just made a ghost. There's one. Here's a pumpkin mug. Here's a white mug with a gold handle. And here are the ghost mugs. However, I'm still looking for some support here because I really believe this looks as much like a polar bear as it does a ghost. So any of you that agree with me, please give us a thumbs up for a polar bear. Okay, so now what we're going to have next is Pamela's green and teal pumpkin, special order. And once again, if you'd like to have one made for yourself, just let us know. What color stem are you going to have on this, Josh?
This will be the reduced gold color.
The reduced gold color. So we have a piece of opaque teal, right?
Jade.
Yeah, jade green is what it is. So he's got the green, and the reason we're putting on the opaque background is it doesn't distract from the color that overlies it. If we were to put a couple of transparents together, they usually get a little bit muddy looking. Imagine if you were looking through, let's say, a red piece of glass and then overlaid it with a piece of blue clear transparent glass. It'd look a little muddy. So we're using this opaque jade green color, and then this is the teal over here in this bowl, the frit, and that's what we'll go over it eventually. First order of business is going to be to shape up that solid chunk.
Yeah, that color mix put together by Tom.
Okay. Oh, that's the color mix.
Yeah, that's the color mix.
Teal themed color mix. All right, so he's cooled the glass on the marver, shaped it a little bit. Once again, just a little bit of pressurized air in it, not much at all. And he doesn't want a huge bubble coming up in this. You may not even be able to see it. Now he'll take his first gather. Now with that dark green color, you should... Robin, thanks for the support. She says she sees the bear, but thinks it needs little ears on the side of it. I'm with you. Okay, so now Josh has got the teal mix on the outside. He's going to marver this into shape and melt things together a little bit. Welcome back, Robin, and especially thanks for the support. This is a losing argument for me most of the time, but I persist. A little bit of shaping, and once again with the pressurized air. You can see the bulge form somewhat. And now I'll reheat to go into the optic mold.
Now, lots of these colors we use, you actually won't see the real color until the next day. When they heat up, they usually go darker.
So it all looks orange now. As it cools, you'll see coloring appearing. But again, as Josh said, now there's your ridges in it, and you can see all that frit on top of the jade green base. So now it's going to be a matter of a little selective cooling and some blowing. He's rolling the tip of the glass on the marver so that it doesn't expand too much there. See where it expanded? Up toward the pipe. Gives him a nice spherical shape. Probably 80% of the pieces we make are start with a sphere with a jack line in them. Now if it's a pumpkin or an ornament, we don't do much else to them. But if it's a pitcher or a bowl, we use gravity. There's his jack line, so this thing isn't attached to a 4.5 foot long blowpipe. And now he'll go reheat just the bottom. So he gives it a quick flash. See how he's pulled it back? You can actually see the piece this time. Lots of times when we point toward the glory hole, you can't see what's going on. But as Josh comes back, you'll see an orange glow down at the tip. And that's where it's hot, because hot glass moves and cold glass don't. So now what he's going to do is flatten the bottom, and we'll give you a really good picture here of the transfer. Foster presents the iron, and Josh sticks it up. He'll turn it to keep it centered. Yeah, Matthew, that's close. Marbre actually comes from the word marbre, which is French for marble. And that's what they used, I guess, when they didn't have stainless steel. So there goes Foster with the transferred piece. Josh is going to take it from him, and Foster is going to scurry like a little squirrel over there and gather up a couple times for another stem. So as Josh said, yeah, it does look a little like a watermelon, Ted. So we're going to take a couple of gathers here and get the gold frit again. So I'll try to get a picture of this piece turning slowly, or however fast Josh chooses to turn it. But Ted mentioned watermelon, and it does look a little bit like that. Now when these colors cool off, it'll have the normal coloration. You can see the jade green starting to turn now. So when he blew in the optic mold, it emphasized the frit all the way around there. Really beautiful. Foster's got the gold gathered up. He's going to come for a reheat again. Drop it in that little optic mold. Optic molds are sometimes called dip molds because really you basically just dip the glass in it. We do have other kinds of molds that we use to actually, another piece, okay, so he goes in there, he gets the ridges. And with a quick reheat, Josh is waiting on him over here again.
Hey man, I'm sorry.
Now the beautiful thing about this is even if there's a little hold up at some point, we can keep flashing these pieces and work for a long time. Josh pulls it out, uses shears to start a line to cut it, and the shears cut through the glass. As long as the glass is hot, you can cut right through it. Foster's going to grab that pipe again and give Josh something to wrap this stem around. I agree with you, Pamela Ritter. It is beautiful. I think you're going to be very, very happy with this. So, Josh is going to pull out the length on that a little bit. The angle is so the glass flows easily. He doesn't want to pull it away from the piece. Foster presents him the pipe to wrap around. Josh will signal him with a head wag that he's done, and there we go. Now it's just a case of some careful placement, a little manipulation, and they'll torch this one again. So the reduction process actually it has to do with the atmosphere. And so a reduction atmosphere is oxygen starved, and this flame is actually going to suck the oxygen molecules out of the glass and turn the color. Oh, give us a big blast, Foster. Yay, yes, okay. He's returned to his adolescence. Well, oh, somebody said he's never left. No, that was me. They didn't say that.
Okay,
Josh is going to take a quick flash on the piece over here and then right on back. Brian Ritter says he's never seen an ugly piece that's been made by anyone at the Art of Fire. Thank you, Brian. There we go with a beautiful gold color on it. And Pamela, I think you're going to love this. The colors will change a little bit as it cools in the annealer, but it's going to be just perfect. Off it comes onto the insulated gloves and put that hot thing away. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful coloration. An excellent choice there, Pamela. Excellent choice. And so let's see some hearts, flowers, hand clapping for Josh Reese and Foster Holcomb. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Bill says we're having too much fun. Hey,
That's true.
if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. So, just like Pamela ordered that piece and had it made right before her very eyes, and yours as well, you can do the same thing. Just place an order. You can direct message Theta. You can use theartoffire.com to place an order, and we'll be glad to work with you. If we can, we'll incorporate it into a live stream demonstration so that everybody can see it. And if not, we can give you a video copy of it being made. So here we go, back to the board. We've done our teal green pumpkin. Now we're going to do the pumpkin pitcher. And somebody had a baseball comment earlier, and yes, there are pumpkin pitchers. We have not seen a pumpkin catcher, but we do know that over in Damascus there's pumpkin chucking in the fall. So maybe any of you that have one of those things that throws pumpkins a half mile or something like that can let us know. What are your store hours? That's going to be 10 to 4:30, Tuesday through Sunday. Best to call, okay? Best to call to make sure that everything's going on. So a pumpkin pitcher is next. Quick review of the prices. Here we go with the Mongo large, medium, and small pumpkins. They come in all sizes. The ghosts pumpkin pitcher, which you're about to see. Goblets will be later on. They're $165 a pair. They are sold in pairs only. So let's take a look at the inventory here. We've got the Mongo pumpkin in the back. That's almost a foot in diameter. That's a lot of glass. And then we have the large. We have it both in white and the orange color. You saw a white one earlier. Here we go with the medium and the small, which are really cute. They're really nice for sitting on a mantle or anywhere around the house. And then here's what we're about to have made is the pumpkin pitcher. This one is what's called a traditional shape. You can see that nice folded spout on it right there. Here's a ghost, definitely a ghost. I'm willing to concede. Wearing a sheet, it's a ghost. This would be Halloween. But that to me is a polar bear mug. Anyway, these will be ghost mugs, and you'll see one made after the pitcher. And here we go with a regular pumpkin mug, and then also a white mug with a gold handle in case you're partial to either the white pumpkins or the ghosts or the polar bears. Okay, so let's wander on back. Be sure to like, share, comment. The more comments you make, the more opportunity you have to get yourself entered into a random drawing for the prize piece, which this week is a small orange pumpkin. So, let's see here. Oh, Mary Beth Morgan said adding an order now. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. It's nice to know these things happen in real time, right while we're doing it. Okay, so this is going to be the pumpkin pitcher. It's going to take a couple of gathers of glass. So Josh has a slightly larger blowpipe this time around. The end of the blowpipe, the head of it, comes in different diameters. And normally we use one that's about 1 inch in diameter. But what have you gone to here? 1.25 inches or 1.5 inches?
I think it's 1.25 inches.
1.25 inches. And just that little bit increases the size of the gathering surface and allows him to pick up a bit more glass. So he's got that glass on there. He's letting it stabilize, pressurized air. Here we go for the bubble coming out in the glass. We're going to test our gel pack that's on the back of the camera, see if it really cools it.
There you go.
Yeah, I won't move in for a long time. You know, last week when we overheated the phone, that was when Josh was doing the bell or plunger pickup, and we got this thing right down practically on top of the ceramic plate that's on the Pasquarelli. And that thing generates a ton of heat, as did the plunger he made.
Yeah, white shot.
That's right.
Yeah, so there's a gather right there, and when Josh takes his final gather is when he'll go through. Now the way we get the beautiful orange color on the pumpkins and the mugs and pitchers is a couple of coats of this yellow color and then this red. And here we go. We got a great shot of Josh's hand. That's all right. I'll move, don't you? Because that bowl actually gets pretty hot when you're dipping the color in. So he's working on shaping it, getting it under control and everything. When he goes back for a reheat, we'll step to the other side.
Cut a little bit
Now
off.
he's got to cut a little bit off. You saw that it didn't quite cover the whole thing. If I can get around here before he gets rid of it, you can see clear right on the end. That's because he had more glass here than he needs. And you're best when you're making glass if you can treat it as a subtractive art. Like if you gather a little too much, you can always take it off. But if you don't have enough, you ain't putting it back on. So here he comes again for the yellow. Foster's holding the bowl this time, and you can see it get picked up. So the glass is so hot that we don't need to preheat those small frit. Welcome, William Borden. Glad to have you here with us.
Oh, hey, Bill. Bill's from up in Chameau, New York.
Well, let's get a full face
Hey,
view
Bill.
of Foster.
Hey,
Yeah.
Bill. How you doing, buddy?
Okay, so he's got two yellow coats on it. Now he's got a red coat because he's British. Here he goes. Come on, guys, you got to be quicker than that. Marvins it out, and he'll be putting a little bit more air in this in a moment. And then, there he goes, and it's just a little. And he's going to go into a bigger mold this time to put the ridges in it. Yeah, Carol Ann said keep commenting. We draw from the comments. Really, that's what keeps us going here. We could do this in silence any day of the week. There he goes, blowing hard into the mold, and you can see the ridges forming right at the top. Out he comes, and there we go. All right. He'll cool the tip again because he doesn't want that to blow out. That move right there with the part near the pipe was to shape it, because glass that's up on the pipe is not any good for making the piece. So now he's turning it both directions in the glory hole so that it doesn't twist up on him too much. A little bit of air, and you can see it maintained that sharp point on the end. That's because he cooled it on the metal table. Eric Lasinski's watching. Welcome aboard, Eric.
Hey, Eric.
Do y'all have a Halloween code for online orders? Well, Mary Beth, I'm going to have to defer to Theta on that. I'm not exactly sure. Now, Josh is using a little centripetal force, but notice how he stops a little bit at the top of the lift. That's so it doesn't get elongated out of control. So by pointing it up in the air, he controls the length. There he goes. Now you can see that bulbous bottom on the pitcher, a thinner neck, and now with plenty of heat in there, he uses the jacks to cut a neckline or a jack line. Again, who wants their pumpkin pitcher with a 4.5-foot piece of steel? Now he's got to open another door here because this baby's getting pretty big. He'll heat just the bottom, come back and flatten the bottom just like he did before. Yes, it is a repetitive process, but it always feels new. Okay, here we go. He takes the paddle and he gets that flattened. Foster's behind us making the putty right now. A little dimple in the bottom makes sure that the putty is recessed. Sometimes there's a little bit of putty glass left on the bottom. Do we make snowmen? Oh, you bet your bottom dollar we make snowmen.
Don't worry, it's coming.
It's coming. Yes, just like Game of Thrones, winter is coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, here we go. Attaching the putty up. And then once it's centered, and he'll also check on this one just to make sure that Foster's good, because there's a lot of heat in that putty, and we don't want this baby wobbling all over. And Foster deftly manipulates it again. There's a T in there, Foster, with
There
the
is.
deft. Yes, deft, not deaf. Okay. So now Josh has got the thing under control. He's going to heat the top half of it and begin to work on that. So this is more of the usual order of making a piece. The Ghost was kind of an exception where we made the top then the bottom. This one we make the how do we message Theta for orders. You know what, Mary Beth? I'm probably not a good one to answer that because I misdirected people before, but I do know that you can direct message her through Facebook,
Or you
okay?
can email us at artoffire@artoffire.com.
But anyway, if you get to the Art of Fire website, I think there's a link. You might have to leave the live stream for a moment, and you can go to basically what is your Facebook Messenger. But if you're placing an order for the future, then the website is probably your best bet. So now they've opened it up a little bit.
Oh, yeah, make it look exciting.
So he's going to enlarge that opening somewhat. Then he's going to flare the lip back, and then he and Foster will combine to put the spout on. And good, Theta just gave Mary Beth the phone number. Where are you located? Outside of Damascus, Maryland, also called Laytonsville. The mailing address is Gaithersburg, but we really don't have 3 studios. It's just the one, but it lies kind of in that triangle. We're in northwest Montgomery County, and we're not far from Baltimore. About 35 miles from Baltimore, right, Foster?
I'm sorry, 35.
We're about 35 miles from Baltimore.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm a retired air traffic controller. If I can't hit distances, I'm in trouble.
Flip it around.
Okay. Is this a base you were making? No, Amanda Puffy, this is a pitcher. This is a pumpkin pitcher, but if you would like a pumpkin vase, please contact us. You can place an order online. You can direct message Theta through Facebook Messenger if you want to do it during the live stream. Now, here's where the cool part comes. We take the carbon bar, we get the spot located, Foster pinches around it, and that makes the spout. He gives Josh the jacks because this needs a little bit of fine tuning on the shape. We want it to pour, not dribble. So, Foster's going to take the flash reheat. I'm going to step over so I can give you a good view of placement of the handle. Josh is going to pick up a pretty good sized gather of glass, and I'm going to go close the furnace door for him. He's putting the green on. Are you going back in the furnace, Josh? Okay, he's going to reheat in the furnace to melt it in. I'll get the door when you come out. Oh, you got it? Okay. He's going to get that really hot, and then he's going to drop it in the dip or optic mold. And there, he's got a little heat to melt the green a little more into the mold, very quickly out to retain heat. And now he's over here. They get it so the spout is straight down. They'll communicate if it needs adjusting. Attachment of the handle and twist just like a pumpkin stem, and snap it off. Foster turns it down, and we make the attachment. Josh reaches for his carbon bar and smooths it out. There we go. And that's a mark of a really good handle. It lays right down on the piece. Beautiful, very nice. This one can be yours. Just order it. Okay, get in touch with Theta right now. Direct message on Facebook Messenger. Place an order online. If this one sells, fear not, we can make another. Okay, so he gets that final shaping on the handle. And then he's going to take a little bit of water on his tweezers right into the joint of the punny and tap it off. Foster puts it away in the annealer, and there she goes. All righty, let's hear it for Josh. Yay! Oh, come on, let's have some hearts. Let's have some thumbs up. Come on, flood the screen, please. Okay, and Foster. Thank you, Foster. Okie doke. Now, let's go on down here and take a look at what's next and what's going on. So, we did the pumpkin pitcher as opposed to the pumpkin second baseman. All right, so next up on our agenda is, that's a polar bear mug. I don't care what they say. No, actually it'll be a ghost mug. So it'll be done in white again with some of the same techniques you saw with the ghost. And that's what's up next for us. So, here are the mugs in question. I still say if we put a little miniature Coca-Cola can on there, it would definitely be a polar bear. All right, we have our small pumpkins. The white ones will typically have the gold stem on them. Orange ones will have the green. We have the medium size, just a little bit bigger. I'll step back so you can see the comparison of the size. And then sweeping across, you can see both of the large pumpkins there behind the mediums, and then partially hidden in the background is the Mongo, which, as I said earlier, is about a foot in diameter, and that's an awful lot of green glass on the top as the stem. Here's a picture just like the one you saw made, and if you'd like that, please let us know. Alrighty, and here's a ghost, and then here are mugs. And this is the mug you'll be seeing next is the ghost mug. Here's our prices over here. We'll start at the top on our pumpkins, our ghosts, the pitcher, goblets sold in pairs, and then ghost mugs or pumpkin mugs. So, like us, share what you see, please comment. Use the comments to let us know. Several of you have told us about pieces that you have that you really like, and we'd love to hear about that. Some of you have been following the Art of Fire since Foster was a mere pup and started this years ago. How many years have you been doing this, Foster?
We opened up our studio at Savage Mill in 1986.
1986.
We were at Savage Mill from 86 until 97, and that's when we moved over here, was in 97, and we reconverted the dairy barn and opened up the spring of 2000.
Okay, and weren't you an itinerant hippie glass blower for a time before Savage? Didn't you do the Renaissance Fair circuit, state to state?
Well, we still did.
Yeah.
And had somebody take care of the studio in the summertime.
There you go.
We went out and ultimately downsized to just the best fair in the country, which is the Maryland Renaissance Festival, located over in Annapolis, Maryland, for those of you who do not know. But we're glad to have you with us, and that, in a nutshell, is the story of Art of Fire.
Okie doke. All right. So we're getting ready here. Josh has got some color on the end of the pipe again. I'm guessing since it's a polar bear, it's white. Yeah, it's white. I'm not going to give him a chance. I'm just going to keep pounding that. Yeah. Okay. We'll get some gathers over that, some clear glass. So you can see it's not a huge amount of glass on the end of the pipe when he has the color. And what happens is all the coating of the clear glass magnifies it. If we were to cut the finished product in cross-section, it might only have, a 1/16 or maybe a little bit more color inside, but the magnification really makes it look like it's a solid color. You notice he's turning. He'll stop here in a moment for us. Yep, see the droop? Yep, there you go. So that's why the glass blower has to keep it centered. I think personally, centering is probably about the hardest skill that a glass blower has to use. He'll introduce the air again, blow and cap. Blowing into hot glass is really not all that difficult. I mean, we've had asthmatics learn to blow glass. I mean, not people with severe lung conditions, but just because you may have think you have a little trouble blowing the air, that's usually not the big deal. This is nothing like playing the trombone or the oboe or anything like that. It's really not difficult at all. So he's going to let that cool a little bit. Were he to gather right away, that bubble he had in there would just collapse. Foster David Hogan says he remembers when you guys were at Savage Mill. Marta Williams, thank you. We appreciate that you're enjoying the live stream. So now Josh comes back with a larger gather of glass. You can see the clear casing the white and the previous gather of clear. He's going to pick up a slightly larger block and shape the glass. The glass is riding on a bed of steam because that cherry wood block's been soaked in water and it just creates steam. You can actually see the smoke rising from the block. Now another reheat, he'll expand it some more and then lengthen it. So you can see that we really do start out with kind of a spherical shape, and then we'll put a jack line in it, or sometimes we'll elongate before the jack line, but most of the time a piece is made from a sphere that's narrowed down. So he's still got that spherical shape, and he's going to block again. And what this is going to do is make sure that the air bubble that's inside that white blows out evenly. If he had this really long right now, it wouldn't be so even. So a little puff of air, watch it grow, and you'll see he maintains clear in the bottom. And he cools the clear. Why? Because he don't want to rip the bottom of the mug out. This will be another piece where we make the bottom half first and then the top half. Ted Scott says, yes, you have taught people with serious pulmonary issues, and thank you, Ted, we appreciate that. Hey, Michael Herman's on with us. Say hi, Michael, from the group. Yay, yeah. Michael, all right. We're almost to the season of making snow angels in Corning, Michael. Okay, when the steam starts coming up, is that how you know you don't need to use the block anymore? No, not really. The steam's just kind of a byproduct, Bridget. The signal that Josh gets, if you will, to stop blocking is the glass is acquiring the shape he wants and it hasn't lost too much heat. If it loses too much heat, then he's got to go back and really practically melt it to get it going again. So now he's got the jack line in it, he's got an elongated cylinder, and this is going to be the mug. A quick touch with the paddle to flatten it. And now, any of you that are watching could probably do the narration for this next part, because you've heard it enough times.
That would be Michael.
Yeah.
Come on, Michael, start narrating.
So here comes Foster with the punny. Josh is careful to grab it with the tweezers, not his bare hand, because that pipe is probably around 1100 degrees, or at least 900. And the hot glass on there gets it centered up, and he'll tap it to break it free. The glass breaks at its weakest point, so by kind of rubbing it with the edge of the tweezers, he created a cold spot. Nancy, James, DM or call to order. If you want to order right now at the moment, DM would probably work well. If you do call, don't call Foster's number, because I'm using his phone for the filming and I'm not going to answer. But you could call Theta. You can also go to the website, artofire.com. Great way to order a piece and get anything with you.
On the landline, which is on the website.
Yeah. Okay, so hope you guys are enjoying the cool weather today. Yes, Eric, we are. It's much, much nicer today, and the lack of humidity, or the reduction in humidity, is really welcome. And we figure pumpkins are appropriate today because it was in the 40s when we got up this morning. Yeah, it's a little chilly outside. Okay, so we got the bottom half of this mug made, and now Josh is going to work on opening it to form the top half. You can see that the constriction where he closed it down by the pipe is really rather tiny. I'm going to get in so close he has to move his jacks to open up. All right, and that glass is hot, so it's easy to move, and he gets his shape going here, kind of a typical barrel shape. Foster's applying pressure with the paddle to make sure that it's nice and even, so it doesn't sit lopsided. Okay, so Josh is going to take a piece of chalk. Sometimes we want the face or the handle in a certain place. And when he gets that spot located, right now you can still see the glass moving. See how it flexes on the iron. So
put the face right here.
Okay. So that little chalk mark, that little registration mark, is going to let Foster know which side is up. So it isn't like the boxes we ship that say this end up or fragile glass. So Josh has got his special glasses, his I look cool while I do this glasses, and he's going to heat. Foster's got the mark up. Josh gets the heat. The glasses are protecting him from the solar flare. He heated the little ball on the end so that the cold metal didn't break the glass. And in just a moment, he'll move the flame away and he'll push up with the ball. And here comes the polar bear's head. Alrighty. Boy, am I going to hear it about polar bears today. They won't let me hear the end of it. Stiff color, yes, okay. Ted mentioned a stiff color. Mary Beth asked about it. Because of the various metals, the chemicals that are used in creating colored glass, some of them are what we call stiff, and some of them are very soft. And this white opaque is a very stiff color. In other words, it takes a while to heat up and it's harder to move. Here comes an arm. Although Mary Beth has an alternative explanation. Okay, and then what he'll do here is let Foster take another reheat and push up the other arm. Somebody a few minutes ago said we really should put a little Coke can on this guy. We'll work on that sometime. Okay, how is red? It depends a little bit on what the red is. Most reds are kind of stiff. Some colors that are stiff are harder to work with. Well, they require more experience and a little more accommodation. What really gets interesting is when you try to mix a stiff color with a soft color, because then the soft color absorbs the heat really fast and can just take your piece south in a minute. So one of the most interesting combinations for that is if you do black with white. And if you make a large bowl or vase and half of it's black and half of it's white, it's really tricky to get going. Mary Beth just ordered a little ghost. Thank you, Mary Beth.
Thank you.
All righty. Is the room you're working in really hot? Not too bad right now, but actually asking glass blowers about what's hot is kind of subjective because we kind of get used to it after a while. But right now, no, it's very pleasant in here today. Once again, the small black stringer, he puts an eye on, and then watch how he just draws it up. And now here comes the nose. Mouth, okay.
It's a screaming ghost, Bruce.
The screaming. Oh, well, what about the painting? Why don't you have that elongated,
I
the
usually
scream?
try to.
Yeah, okay. So now he'll get those little bits heated up and push them down slightly with the tweezers. So he comes again with the oxygen propane torch. Well, yeah, it makes sense that it's a mouth because he's waiting on that can of Coca-Cola. Yes, totally get it. Matthew commented on the metal cladding. Are you talking around the studio about where we've surrounded all the glory holes and much of the furnace? Lisa Byers says hi. Hey Lisa, good to hear from you. Yep, I remember you and Steve well. Okay, so here comes Josh now, getting ready to put on a handle to the ghost. Foster's going to flip the ghost. He's going to put the face to the back wall so that it's sideways on the
This
seat.
side?
That's fine.
We attach the handle, draw it up gently, and then snip it. And Foster turns it around to where it's hanging down. Now Josh will peel it up, and then he'll grab his carbon bar, and you'll see him work the magic of making the handle just so it will fit in your hand. So all you got to do is contact us, and this or one like it can be yours. What is a stringer? I had a really wise guy answer a minute ago, but it's not like a roadie, but there's something that stringers do for advertising industry. At any rate, I digress. A stringer for a glass blower is a piece of color that's been drawn out really thin.
Now, unfortunately, our little ghost guy lost an arm.
Oh,
Yeah, got a little cold.
got a little cold. Okay.
So you can see right there.
But now he can become a rock drummer. Yeah, there we go.
So it happens. You know, if that glass gets below 1,000 degrees, it can crack. So that's why we're always warming it. But just goes to show you.
Yep, there we go. Nice job, beautiful. Okay, so Foster will put that away. And I'll bet you that tomorrow or sometime this week, one of us is drinking from it, filling it up and holding it above our heads so that the fluid comes out the armhole.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you, Foster.
No.
And Bridget said, oh no, and can it be fixed? No, not really, but you know, we kind of get used to it today. So that's, you know, it happens.
Right. I
So-
mean, that's part of being handmade. You know, not everything makes it.
Yeah.
So that just makes everything that does make it a little more special.
Mary Beth said polar bear.
Okay.
Yes! We're on a roll here. Okay, so let's go on back over to the display place and also look and see what we got coming up. You make it a dribble mug. That's exactly what we're thinking about here. Can you put mugs in the microwave? No. Now, all of our drinkware, you don't want it to have hot liquids in it, and we recommend against using a dishwasher. The thermal shock could break the glass. They can handle cold liquids just fine, but if you have one of our pieces, you want to make sure to hand wash it in warm water. So there was our ghost mug, and now we're going to have a small pumpkin. So the small pumpkins, we'll start up here at the front. These guys on the front row here are our small pumpkins. Right behind them, you can see the medium size, pretty good increase in diameter. Then moving on to two large ones right behind that. And of course, the one we really love to make, the Mongo. Hand wash and beer only, that's correct. Okay, well, it doesn't have to be beer. Any cold liquid could do. Here's the picture you saw a couple of minutes ago. And here are the Ghost Slamp polar bear mugs. A ghost. And here are our pumpkin mugs and our white mug. This is our price list of the pieces you see today. We've got the we've got the pumpkins in 4 sizes. We've got the ghost, a pumpkin pitcher, pumpkin goblets will be made last today, and the mugs. So there are your prices. You can order online at artofire.com. If you can get to your Facebook Messenger, you can direct message Theta and she can arrange a purchase for you. If you'd like to purchase a piece you see being made, let us know. We can work that out. And if you joined us late, we had Pamela Johnson Ritter ordered a pumpkin. We'll go back up here. They're putting some things together for the next piece anyway. Pamela Ritter called in and placed an order for a teal and green pumpkin. And we worked it out so that we could do it as part of today's demonstrations. So if there's a particular color of a piece or shape, something that you'd like to see made, let us know. If we could work it into a subsequent live stream, we'll be glad to. Or another option would be to place the order and then we can do a video of it being made and email you the video so you'll see how your particular piece was made. Also, we've been giving away a piece each week, so we're glad to see those of you on here making comments. Last week's piece was won by Linwood Hoffman. It's a cane ornament. We were working with cane last week, so this beautiful piece will be shipped out. This week's giveaway is going to be a small pumpkin, which will be just like what you're seeing made next. So, there we have it. And let's go on back and see if we're getting ready for the small pumpkin. So here we are in the pumpkin patch. All right, Josh is going to pick up a gather of glass, just like he did with the pumpkin pitcher. He's going to go through the yellow a couple times and then through the red. You'll notice it's a lot less glass that he had to get for the pitcher. So the glass blower usually figures out what size vessel he needs to make and then gathers an appropriate amount of glass. If you need to, you can always go back and gather a little more at this stage, but really not once you start putting the colors on. If you recall, or if you go through a playback later on, you can see that Josh trimmed off some of the glass when he did the pitcher. Now he's going to come on over and give it a dip through the red. And these combined will give him a really pretty orange when he's done. He's marvering it so it's a little bit longer, and now he's going to introduce air and let it go about a third to the halfway down the length of the piece. He's going to marver it back down again, and marvering is just rolling it on this metal tabletop. That's so he can create a shape that will go into this optic mold here. And that one right there is what he's going to drop the glass in. Are the cane ornaments still online, or still available? Oh, absolutely. Yep, you can go online and order them, and we'll absolutely ship those to you. So Josh has blown into the optic mold, got the ridges set. He'll come out. So it's already picking up a little bit of a spherical shape. It blows a little more. Now, by cooling the bottom with the back of the jacks, he'll keep it from expanding too much as he blows now. There he goes. The jacks into the next time, right in that next line. And now he's going to heat the bottom of the piece. So we sometimes do selective heating because hot glass moves and cold glass don't. That's for you, Lisa and Steve. And Bill, if you're still watching, because I know you've heard it before. So now he's going to flatten the bottom using the back of the jacks and a little indentation. Notice how the optic ridges are still in that. It's still quite pronounced in the pumpkin. Here we go with the punny. You can see from the bright glow of that glass that it's still very hot. There's not much weight to this, so we don't have to worry about it falling all over. Foster takes it. Now they're going to move really pretty quickly. Do you all make things like snowmen or pumpkins as ornament inside or a clear glass ball? Yeah, we do make clear glass balls. We could probably do snowman ornaments, but we really haven't done much of that.
If you can, why not?
Yeah,
give us an email or a call, and we'd be happy to work with you. You know, make those custom orders. Absolutely.
Okay, so Foster's taking his second gather of the clear glass, and he's going to come over and dip through this green. This green has a kind of lobe to it. And this is called aventurine, and it's almost like it's got shiny flakes in it. Foster will go heat that up. He'll put that into the small optic mold to put ridges in it, and then they'll do the stem attachment. Lindsay says that the pumpkins are what attracted to the booth at the Ren Fest. Well, we're glad to hear that. We make a lot of pumpkins. And just like you, we missed the Ren Fest. It was a great way to meet and stay in touch with people. There goes Foster into the mold, and now he'll bring it back out. Right before Josh places it, Foster will flip it. As it's falling, he shoves it in. There you go. So that's kind of like a football quarterback leading the receiver with a pass. You got to start the motion before that's where you really want it to be. And that's exactly what Josh did. So he began the motion as he projected where the stem would align with the hole in the top. Foster will step in and we'll get another wrap, but I'm not going to say that's a wrap because we've got another piece to make. All right, there we go with the twist and some elongation, and he'll just twirl it around that metal and then curl it up onto the piece, and there we go. Now this one does not get the reduction treatment. Foster, do you want to go play with the flame anyway, Foster?
You want me to play with the flame?
I said, do you want to? We'll let you play with the flame if you like. Yeah, okay. Got to keep the kids happy. Now, but we don't need it on this piece because this is not a reducing color. There's no oxygen to be retrieved here. So Josh will take this back and knock it off, and then he'll use a little hook tool to grab this spiral and place it in the annealer. There's hooked under, there's the little pumpkin, and away we go. So, who in the comments section can tell us what television artist used to always say, and away we go? Come on, somebody. Josh, I know doesn't know, but somebody's going to come up. One of our viewers is going to know who said, and away we go. All righty. All right, so we're coming down to the bitter end here. Well, not really bitter. We really enjoy doing this. So let's bring it on back to the display table. And in case you joined us late, no, it wasn't Johnny Carson. He may have said it, but somebody else was well known for it. All right, we've done the white pumpkin. We've done a ghost. We've done the teal and green pumpkin for Pamela. And again, if any of you would like to have a special order made on the live stream or get a video, let us know, be in contact. We've done the pumpkin pitcher, ghost mug, and you just saw the small. Jackie Gleason, Suzanne is right on top of it. Way to go. Okay, and then it's the pumpkin goblet. And just to show the generation gap around here, Josh, do you know who Jackie Gleason was?
No.
Somebody in the comments section, please let Josh know what the television series was that Jackie Gleason starred in with Audrey Meadows. Okay, so now here's our price list today. The Mongo, large, medium, and small pumpkins, the ghost, and we've got the pumpkin pitcher, pumpkin goblets. A goblet is coming up next, and the ghost mugs. So here we go with a straight up pumpkin mug and a white mug. There's our ghost. The honeymooners, yes, Eric, way to go. Okay, and here are the ghost slant polar bear mugs. Here's our pumpkin pitcher. Peter Piper pumped a pumpkin pitcher. I don't know. Anyway, there's a Mongo pumpkin. Here are the large, the medium, and the small in the front. And there is a comparison shot for the pumpkin family. Art Carney made that show. Yes, that's true. He really did. All righty. So We're going to be doing the pumpkin goblet next. If you choose to order the pumpkin goblet, they do come in pairs, but Josh is just going to make one right now. So this is going to be a really cool piece to end up with. Suzanne says that the Flintstones were actually based off the Honeymooners, and I'd heard that before.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, how about that?
Really?
So, what Josh will start with in this three-piece construction is the cup. And you can see that glass just moving all over the place. He's not too concerned about the shape of it right now. He just doesn't want it dripping all over. So if it gets a little lumpy on one side, he's going to straighten that out later on. Mary Beth said her mom would die for a pumpkin pitcher. Actually, you can get one a lot easier than that. Just place an order at artofire.com. Direct message Theta, get in touch with us, because we can do that. We have the technology. All right, he's got the 2 coats of yellow on there. He's going to come back for a little more red. And since it's a pumpkin goblet, he's pretty darn sure going to go into optic mold to put some ridges in this pumpkin. A little bit of air into it, and you can see that caused a bulge. He'll change the shape just gently so that he can put it into the optic mold, and it'll all blow out nice and even. So, a little bit more heat. He wants that pretty hot. It's going to be flopping around pretty good when it comes out, and it'll probably be a bright yellow-orange color. There we go. You can actually see it blow out in the mold. The ridges go out, and there we go. Now what he's got to do here is shape up a really nice little goblet cup. Do we use yellow or red color, or is there such a thing as orange? Yes, there is orange, but we've experimented with a lot of colors, and most of the oranges are really pretty bright, and the pumpkins seem to look a little better, somewhat subdued. So we do have oranges, and we have lots of colors available. I won't say we've got the whole rainbow, but we've got all shades of blues and greens. We've got pinks and purples. We've even got 3 different shades of purple. So if you like more blue in your purple, we've got that. If you like more red in your purple, we've got that. And if you like a balance of red and blue in your purple, we've got that. We don't have any purple people eaters. Okay, here he comes, forming a bowl of the cup, and Foster's over there gathering up some green glass again, that same aventurine green. So this will form the stem to the goblet. So Foster's going to heat this up. David, good to have you with us. Okay, so Foster's going to heat up the piece for the stem. Josh has reached over for a small torch. This one doesn't provide as much heat as the oxypropane, but it'll be just what he needs. He's going to hold the piece upright. Foster's going to deliver the glass to him from above. Josh places it in the center of the piece, draws it up, and cuts off the length he needs, and no more. He'll take a quick reheat because the piece has been out of the heat for a little bit, and then that also warms up the stem glass. Now he'll come over, press it in place gently, and begin to elongate it. That angle is to create a little bit of a taper, and you'll see this conical shape form. Notice how his jacks are inclined. This allows him to stretch it out without squeezing too hard. He keeps a nice diameter on it. So he gets this on out, and he'll play with this a little bit, get exactly the length he wants, and every once in a while he'll go back for a quick flash heat because he doesn't want the top to get a little cold. When he gets the stem set to the length he would like, he'll make sure that it's stabilized, because we'd been talking with you, maybe it was Mary Beth, about stiff colors and soft colors. This green is a very soft color. It's very easy for it to wobble all over the place. So Josh is going to make sure that it's cool enough to be stable. I mean, cool, yeah, stabilized, not hot enough to get all soft and sloppy, but he can't let the piece get cold. So that's why I'm using this small butane board to go ahead and heat that neck area. You can see he's been out of the heat a little while now. Foster is dropping a cookie, or it's actually like dropping cookie dough on a baking sheet. And you're going to cut that off, and Josh is going to place it in there. A quick flash on the neck, a little warming for the foot, and then he'll come back and he'll use his footboards, we call them. It's two pieces of wood that are hinged together with little grooves in it. And by pinching that between the two pieces of wood, he creates a beautiful, elegant foot. All right, so he has a little bit more shaping on that, but now what he's going to do is get that ready for the punty. So Foster is making the punty. Josh is going to apply the finishing touches to the foot. He'll use his jacks to gently slope it. And he'll use the blades to flatten the bottom so that it sits upright. Now you can see there's a lot of heat in that foot. There's not much in the green, and it really dropped out of the orange. So he's heating the neck. Foster's coming around. He's going to flash the punty so it stays warm. Josh is keeping a close eye on the progress of the piece. And there we go, the attachment. He'll make a quick chill of the neck, break the piece off gently, and Foster takes it to the heat. Josh is going to go over, take the piece from Foster. And now he'll work on the top half, because we always do the bottom half first, right?
Correct.
Okay, or almost always. So he's got to be really careful at this point not to get that green stem too hot. Otherwise the piece would be bouncing all over the place. So he's going to heat up the top, the lip area, and then he's going to come over and start opening that up. And I'm going to stay right here so we can get a really good view of the process.
You know, we have a few minutes, and if somebody wants to watch a custom order being made.
He gets a jack blade in and begins to open. He's also keeping an eye on the stem as he does that. So it's like one eye on the glass all the time. Bridget asked if you've ever tripped over the cats while making a piece. No, we know better than to do that.
Over the cats.
So anyway, back to what Josh is looking at. He has to look at the foot in relation to the pipe just to make sure that it's perpendicular. Otherwise, it would fall off center. Also, he's watching the stem to make sure it didn't get too hot and start to collapse. And then he's watching the cup where his jacks are. So it sounds like this guy needs a third eye. Okay, so here we go back with the jacks again. But he's still watching over here, out of his peripheral vision. It's like a superpower. Okay, and now he's getting the cup all made up there. Once he's satisfied with the shape and the way everything's in alignment, it will wind up taking a final flash. He'll tap it, and take it off of the pipe. The Foster will put it in the annealer.
Do that one more time just to clean it up.
Okay, so when he says one more time to clean it up, he's just noticing a little bit off, something he'd like to perfect. And that's really the challenge in glass blowing, is making sure you get exactly what you want. So he's changing the profile a little bit. And it folded there for a moment, but the beauty of the hot glass is it moves right back.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah, it looks good.
There we go.
It's actually
Okay. So, yes, Mary Beth, that is a complex piece. Can the foot be made green too? It's possible. It's a little harder to work with, but we do it. But normally we like to do the stem in the green and the clear for the foot. This heat down at the bottom, you can see he's focusing it on the edge of the foot so that it doesn't break. A little drop of water and then Foster catches it, and voila, there we go. So we've got an Indian kneeler. Thank you, Josh. Way to go.
Thank you very much. I hope you
Beautiful.
enjoyed that. Thank you very much.
Say goodbye to the folks, Foster.
Look, Bruce, they want to give them a sneak
Or
peek
give
of
them
live.
another blast of the fire.
Maybe
Oh,
a
come on.
sneak peek in
It
the-
is the art of fire. Yeah, okay. Loving that. Okay. So, for a quick review, let's go on back over here. If you would like any of the pieces you've seen made today, they are for sale, or any like them. You can get them through direct messaging via Facebook Messenger. You can go to artoffire.com and place an order, or you can use the phone and call us up. So here's a review of what we did today. Got them all in, well, except for the ghost with the missing arm, but that was close. We got the white pumpkin, the ghost, a teal and green pumpkin. That was a special order, so any of you that may have shown up late, a woman ordered a pumpkin in special colors and wanted to see it made on a live stream. So we did it. And there you have the colors. So if you'd like to do the same thing, contact us. We did a pumpkin pitcher, ghost mug, the small pumpkin, and ended up with the pumpkin goblet. So a review of the display pieces we have. They're a little further apart like this, but it really gives you a pretty cool perspective of the different sizes of these pumpkins. We've got the small ones in front, backed up by the medium, the larger right behind them, and at the very back, the Mongo. Here's our pumpkin pitcher. We can make one for you. And here are our ghost slant polar bear mugs. Here's the ghost and more mugs. So, thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week, and we're happy to say no service interruptions this week. We're really proud of that. You all have a great week. We'll see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.